And we back. Welcome to URF Tone Tuesday. Pardon our, absence. I think a lot of people do what they do in the summer and they plan their vacations and stuff like that. For us, it was, I guess, both of ours coincidentally fell to the fall. So I did a little bit of a getaway with my first solo trip to Charlotte, and we did check in from Charlotte. Hung out with my brother, and then my wife and I spent a little time in New York just to, decompress and take a little time and shake up the element a little bit. And then you followed up.
Yeah, I went to Vancouver.
Yes, sir.
With my wife and family, and yeah, we had a good time.
Was it? I know Vancouver's like notorious for the rain. Was it pouring like that? I know it's the fall, or is it still like you got some summer spillover?
Yeah. No, it was great, man. The weather was great. I think one evening, it kind of got drizzly, but it was.
That's nothing.
For this time of year and for Vancouver in general, everybody, it was crazy because we was the one kind of bundled up. We had, not crazy, but we had our jackets on, and and they was in, shorts and tank tops and whatnot. They was really feeling the vibe. So, yeah.
I hate seasonal people so much, and I mean hate, of course, lightly, but like jokingly. But when it's like 80 degrees in Cali, it'd be like, man, I'm cooking out here. Be like, oh, it's dry heat. You don't know what humidity. Like, get out of here. It's like 50 degrees in Cali. It's like, yo, it's a little chilly. Like they won't accept your reality. Right. They're like, what? Nah, we got it negative, which is absolutely true. But like, it's all relative. It's all relative, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I came from a cold place. I came from Milwaukee, so I grew up shoveling.
And a humid place, right? In the summer, it'd be hazy, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, mad humid. So it's like, I've seen the extremes, and then of course you move to Cali, and I think for most people, like your body just adjusts to wherever you at. So now, 50 is cold to me. Like it's real cold. They like Y'all call my people back then. That ain't cold. I'm like, but it is to me now. So you know what I mean? What up, Paul?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, so, it's all relative. Well, I'm glad that you guys actually caught the good weather in Vancouver. The last time, and I got family up there, so the last time we traveled that way, it was I want to say 2017, and I think we were there for like a week, and it was like cats and dogs the whole time. We braved it a couple of times because we're like, well, let's not squander. Like it's a beautiful city, the people are friendly, et cetera, et cetera. Like let's not succumb to the rain and just stay cooped up in the room. Like, so we braved it one or two times, but it was just like, it just rocked us. Like we don't have the clothes, like the strategic, capacity to like navigate a rainy world. Like we're just not built for it.
It can get crazy. It can get crazy for sure. So yeah.
But we did catch a really great day, and we did.
How was New York?
New York's dope, man. I'm
talking weather-wise and vibe-wise, but
yeah, I mean, we caught the sweet spot. I think it was just like that summer fallout. It still got a little bit hot at times, but like completely bearable, not like suffocating humidity, not that sort of thing,
Right.
We both traveled there a pretty good amount for work, individually, between my wife and myself, but every time we do, and if we got work, of course, we're going to sneak in what we can to take in the city. It's New York. It's vibrant. It's bustling. It's all those things. So we're going to take in what you can. But like I don't think together. No, definitely together. We've never been there where we're just like, yo, let's just absolutely shut it down and be in the city and not have those responsibilities. Yeah. Now we didn't go to Queens. We didn't go to Queens. We did one Brooklyn night. We did like venture into different little neighborhoods. We like Upper Wests and Lower Easts, and did the little Central Park. I've never been to Central Park, which is I went for a wedding one time, But it was in the winter, and it was hardly like a park experience, and suits and wedding deal. But never been to Central Park. Never like. Again, it's always work. Like I'm always going to one of them big old tall buildings, and then you leave with the coworkers, and it's like, yo, there's a happy hour spot right on the block. That's the one thing I love about New York. You're just like, there's an option for you at every turn. Like if you're hungry, you want a coffee, you want a little dessert, you want to get a little drink. Like there's just something always within arm's reach. That's like the one thing that I sorely miss as soon as I come back to this city that I love in LA. But everything is, you got to drive it. It kind of that takes a hit on any kind of spontaneous juju you build it. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's get this drink. Let's, get some food. It's just like, but I got to drive 20 minutes and then there's a little traffic. So it'll be 40 minutes. So I'll just catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
I love that city though.
Did y'all do the horse and carriage in the park and all of that stuff?
Nah. No. We love the animals too much for that. We wouldn't. Okay. We don't. I mean, total, respect and that. Understandable to anybody who would. It's part of the novelty. It's part of the charm. But like, we feel bad looking at the horses like appease us as humans. So we're just like, nah, good. Our feet work.
Okay. All right.
I mean, since you asked, I wasn't gonna soapbox. I wasn't gonna soapbox. What's up, Dora? Welcome to the screen side of Twitch.
Yes.
I was not able to tune in, but definitely want to check you out. And hope that first one went well. Hopefully, you feel like your teeth are nicely cut. And you're ready for more. We're supporting you. You know that.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So let's dive on in. I want to start on a high note.
You should introduce yourself.
Oh, I am Ela. I represent one half of URF Tone, whose name is starting to slowly trickle out into the press, into the blogs, the trades. So we are URF Tone. I represent the man on the mic, the wordsmith, and alongside, as always, is my ride or die, my partner in rhyme, world famous NIC.
Yeah. What up?
DJ extraordinaire. Which that's a great segue for what do we got going on Thursday? Yeah, man. You want to speak to it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll briefly jump into it. For people who follow me, I was doing a residency at Broadway Bar in downtown LA for, oh my gosh, the better part of 2-3 years. It was a while. And that was just kind of like my little, I call it my sneaker money gig, because I would go there and just vibe out. And I love the fact that they didn't really give me no rules. It was kind of like, just play what you want, fill the crowd out, and it gave me an opportunity to kind of work on little sets and different things. And I just enjoyed it. As a DJ, you just love places where you can get out, kind of vibe, and there's no rules and regulations. So that was my spot. And then I just kind of got, my calendar just got crazy with private events, and people were like, yo, where you DJing at? But I wasn't really DJing anywhere. I was DJing all private events and weddings and corporate events and different things like that. And I kind of had to let Broadway Bar kind of fall to the wayside. And then, of course, with Real Ones and just, catching that vibe and, making a connection with DJ Promote. And then, my brother and partner in crime as well, Smooth D. We were just like, man, let's try and do something, even if it's just a once a month, because I can just speak from a DJ's perspective. A lot of times you get into these routines and these ruts where it's like the money is good. Mm-hmm. You get on a certain track and you're playing kind of like to a certain crowd, and you just like to break the monotony. So with all of that said, this Thursday, what is it, October 8th?
Six.
6.
10,
Sorry
6.
about that. Yeah,
Nah, you
sorry
good.
about that. Thursday, October 6th. We are the three of us is just the four of us actually, but the three DJs gonna kind of connect like Voltron and just jump on the ones and twos and really not have any rules or regulations, and we're just gonna have a nice vibe out time. So get a sitter if you got kids.
Yeah.
Set some time aside, come out, have a drink with us. And the cool thing is it's not an all-night thing. It's not 2 a.m. type vibe, but we just want you to come out, vibe with us for a little bit, and then, call it a night.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's a fact. And of course, as long as we've been running together, like, of course, I fell through Broadway Bar a few times. I always viewed that place as like a really cool playground with the world of opportunity, and obviously respect and understand how it's not something that you maintain. You got to prioritize. You got to make life decisions and stuff like that. An NBA player might choose Utah or Sacramento because the money's better than it is in LA or Chicago or something. So
Right.
you got to make your business decisions. So but I always loved it, and you're my favorite DJ. So to be able to hear you, operate off your pure instinct, versus having to pander to a client, which again is understandable, time and place for everything. But to hear you curate from the heart is a really joyful experience for me, and through our brotherhood, through our partnership, I've had the good fortune of really like being introduced and exposed more and more to DJ's world, and to like get a deeper and richer sense of appreciation for our local legends, and that includes Smooth D, and that includes Promote. Even though he just made his way out here from Texas, he's made such an imprint, being one of the architects of Real Ones, which we always speak so highly of. And I know for myself and what I desire, like while the four of us were getting together and saying, hey, should we, we're tossing the idea around, should we like explore like collaborating? You a nice DJ, you nice DJ, you nice DJ. Like, should we give something to the people that maybe is unique in our world, in our network? Right now, that Sunday is firmly reserved for Real Ones. That first Sunday of the month, we know it's going down. We can't wait for it. And we'll jump into a quick recap on that in a second. But like, Snapback Saturdays is going down in OC. I'm talking about like the people that we, respect, we love, we want to support, we want to be on site for, you know what I'm saying? This is a different groove. This fills a different little piece of that whole pie of our earthlings, of our planet Earth type people, the collection, the good energy, the good hearted, the well-intended people that love the hip hop, that love the music, that take pride in being in the front lines of the music, to go tell their people like, yo, this is the spot. Like I got in at the ground level. Like you're not on my level because you haven't gone to this thing yet. Those people, and I know we don't, that's kind of unspoken, but that's true. That's true of you. If you're tuned into us, I know you, that's how you rock. That's how we all rock. We take pride in being like, yo, I listened to that song first. I saw this event when there was only 10 people. So we just trying to fulfill something on that Thursday night that just feels good, man. That has that energy. And it I feel like it's dessert. So when you got that first Sunday of the month at Real Ones, and we all know how Real Ones goes up. If you've had that that pleasure and you've had that experience, you know how it goes up. You put that work weekend. I know when I come off of Real Ones, I'm like, dang, I miss those people already. Just gonna give me just a little. I hope to see some, obviously Promote, Smooth D, some regulars at Real Ones. Promote is his event, so, but like to get the spillover, and it's like, yo, we're gonna do it like this. Let's grab a drink. Let's enjoy this good song together. Let's have more conversations. Let's cheers to more life. Let's do this together. We just want to build that thing out, man. And I'm really excited. And I want to add this too, because I've had a few people be like, yo, are you what, like Earth Tone was like, you performing? It's a fair question. It's a fair question. And at the same time, I want people I want to articulate this so people can get a sense of like the opportunity and think outside of the box and get a sense of what opportunities we have at our disposal in our thing, meaning me and you, the world famous NIC. Like, our thing is not going to be conventional. For URF Tone to say we got an event, like if you listen to the lyrics of an URF Tone song, it's talking about this place, right? This is Arrested Development, Tennessee. We want to escape all of everything. All is there's so much nonsense every day. If it's your boss's nonsense, if it's your Instagram nonsense, if whatever those things are that are in all of our lives, we just want to offer that refuge through music and great people, great energy. And so I want to clarify that it's not a necessary. If it's an URF Tone thing, of course, it's fair to assume there could be a performance, and there will be performances at times. But like, we have the luxury of a powerhouse DJ who is so ill and plugged into these other like incredible talents on the decks. Like, we just want to create these spaces and continue to build this thing out as we've seen it. We're an extended limb to the Real Ones family. We're an extended limb to the Snapback family. Of course, I still got to pull up, and that's gonna happen real soon, and so on and so forth. So this thing that's brewing in these various parts of Southern California is funny because Real Ones is Long Beach, Snapbacks is Fullerton. So like LA just feels like it's a ripe opportunity, and I'm really glad to be doing this and to have you as the rep for us for every time my voice is on a record and stuff like that. And still, even as recently as Sunday, I gotta correct people. All right, so URF Tone, and that's NIC right there. No, I'm Ela, that's NIC. We're URF Tone. Like, that's just that's us. Like, it's an us thing. And I'm happy to set people on the right track when it does come up. But I hope people will slowly begin to appreciate what this is, and it's not conventional. It's not what you've known of a DJ and MC tandem. The DJ and MC thing is really the elevator version of it. Like, what do y'all do? He's the DJ, I'm the MC. We make hip hop. We are hip hop. You know what I mean? But that's if you got 5 seconds. But stick around, man, because we just want to do this thing. We want it to be fly. We want it to be an experience, and we want to celebrate people's goodness. I look forward to it Thursday, man. Come through, please.
Yeah, that's a good way to explain it. I think URF Tone is more than just music. It's a vibe. It's
Absolutely.
We definitely want to set the tone and the energy straight for people that connect with us. I think that's a good definition of who we are, and the vibe that we try and set everywhere we go. So yeah.
Yes, indeed. So thank you for those who've been taking a ride. Continue to take the ride. See how this thing builds out. Real Ones. The usual staples put it down like they always do. Shout out to Curse. Shout out to Icy Ice. Promote, of course. They just put it down, and the sets are like, they're so fun. But they have some really cool guests on who, from a selfish place, they played that thing that like DJ Chris Cut. I guess she's based out of Vegas, and she is, but she's from out this way. I don't know exactly what part, but she's from Southern California, the broader area. And man, she just opened her setup with New Jack. And if the Get Busy video didn't let you know what time it is, like I got a real soft spot for New Jack. And then and the best part of it is I didn't know Vegas Vince was pulling up. And so, you know, NIC, man, he's cool as ice all the time. So I'm not gonna necessarily break him out of his shell. I just needed one little nudge. I will like absorb the energy around me. So when NIC is just kind of G'ing like he does always, I'm gonna probably just kind of adopt what's next to me, that sort of energy. I had Vegas Vince's you know, happy-go-lucky ass just to trigger my happy-go-lucky ass. So we were wilding, man. And shout out to DJ Chris Cut for that set. She opened up, I think it was her opening up with Guy Groove Me, and the rest was history. It was a happy time. And the dance party went so crazy. We had Icy Ice doing his robot thing, right? Doing his B-boy thing. And then Curse had to stop the music just to be like, yo, I've known this man for, what do you say, 20, 30, whatever the number of years is. I have never seen him do that. So to have played any part for Earth Tone to have been in the house and triggered the level of nonsense in any small way or contribution, to have that man Icy Ice with his wife doing like the Real Ones equivalent of a Soul Train couples get down.
Yeah.
And then shout out to DJ Tipstar too. I was like, I started egging her on, and the next thing I know, she go in there, she come back. I'm like, yo, this is one of them ones. This is a special Real Ones right now. They always are special, but unique. They're so unique, man. That was a highlight. And then shout out to DJ Omega Watts, who I've had my eye on for some time. I think like he produced something that may have kind of showed up in my like own curated mix or whatever on Spotify. So his name was familiar, and I think I knew him maybe from a production angle. So I saw him like he's gonna be with the Real Ones crew. I was excited about it. That man played the song that sinks my battleship, and this one is a kind of a deep cut. And I don't know all the deep cuts, so I'm not gonna like pretend to be the pretentious. Yeah, I know everything in all the corners of music. I don't, but I never heard nobody at a party play Donald Byrd, Love Has Come Around, which is a very party-friendly record. And he played that, and I was like, yo, I'm good. I'm good for the day. I'm good. And it was like the third month in a row where I've gone where I'm like, I don't feel like leaving the house. It's Sunday. My back just wants to stay stuck on this couch. Like, I'm tired and excuse. But like, I got to show love to Real Ones. I have to. So I managed to get myself about the house, and I never, ever have regretted when I've done that. I go and I'm just in such a place of elation and happiness, and the music is great and the people are great, and we're going to make that happen on Thursday. So again, Broadway Bar, downtown LA, Thursday, as the spill over to the Real Ones. You know, that was some of my highlights. Did anything kind of like pop out to you that felt kind of unique and special in this versus some of the other ones?
I'm just listening to your story, and it's kind of funny because I mean it's real. I mean, you know, Dora even said like she's got FOMO, real one's FOMO. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that. It's like, so you know, we just explained earlier, like we both had been traveling, so you know, you're kind of. I wasn't extremely jet lagged because obviously, you know, Vancouver and we're on the same time zone. It wasn't like I was flying, but you know, just traveling and you know all the stuff, packing, unpacking, whatnot. You know, so I was like, man, like I was supposed to spend the day with my son, and it was just a lot of stuff happening. So I was like,
that's funny.
It's like, you know what, I'm probably not gonna go. And then you hit me, and you was like, yo, you going to Real Ones? I was like, oh, what time are you gonna go there? He was like, oh, I'll probably be by time. I was like, oh, listen, I was kind of 50-50. I'm gonna go, but I probably ain't gonna get there until late. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm probably not gonna get there until like, you know, 5, 6, you know, whatnot. So anyway, all of that to say, you know how you walk down the long, like kind of, you know, situation. So I'm like, I'm hearing the vibe already going off. So as I'm walking down, I hear like, oh, Ela, da 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 da. I said, oh man, this cat is turning up right now. Like it's like, so, you know, as soon as I get around the corner, you in full, you in full choreography. You going going in. I said, oh, this he representing the earth right now. So I was like, okay, cool. So, I walk around the corner and then they're like, yo, world famous and I see.
Yes, sir.
So it was like this perfect storm of like you representing for Earth Tone and creating that vibe with my man Vegas Vince and whatnot. Y'all doing y'all thing. And then I walk in and they just like, yo, the world famous, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, I was like, it felt like the old show Cheers, where you go to the bar, Norm, like
yes,
it's such a family there. Like, it's a vibe, and the one thing I love about the real ones is if it's your first time there or you've been there every single one, you're ingratiated into this family. Like, oh, you know about this?
Yeah,
That's what's up. Like, so it's like whether you're a DJ, whether you're just a patron going, like, it's so much love there, and it's not only love for each other, genuine love. It's genuine love for the era of music, the type of music, for the vibe, for one another, for the people. Like, it's one of those places where you never worry if like a fight is gonna break out. Like, that's the last thing that crosses your mind.
Exactly.
If a fight broke out there, you would be like, man, that dude you're a weirdo. Like, something is wrong with you, because it just doesn't even produce that type of vibe. Like, people don't even come there with those intentions.
Nah.
Like, everybody comes there with the intentions of like love, and like, we love the music. We getting out, we having a good time on a Sunday. So it's just, it was beautiful, but it was beautiful also because it was like, oh, Earth Tone is definitely being represented the right way. You know what I mean? And it was a good vibe. I loved it. So those are the things that stuck out.
Yeah. Amen to all that. And I love your arrival and the shout that you got. And I've literally described it as cheers to my wife. She often travels on the weekend, so she sees it less. And the times that she did see it, it's been so far back that every month that I've been able to attend, I'm just further ingratiated and immersed into this family. And I'm like, it's crazy. I'm like, I go and I'm so happy. And I've never had this community uniquely, and I mean it. I mean this. I'm trying to make sure I explain it correctly. Uniquely in the music space and in the industry space, where there's people who working either in complement, or it could be viewed as competition, but it not necessarily that it should be. But in all the years, all the shows. Dora, I feel you. None of that. No holleration. There's a little holleration. I see some holleration go down, but I say with the right amount, I guess. Nothing too greasy or whatever.
Right. Not crazy thirst. Not like
not desert
Sprite,
levels of
that Sprite thirst. It's just the right amount of thirst.
Granted in the Sahara and shit. All the years of like, going to the hip hop spots, and nothing was wrong with them. Shout out to like the Common Ground. We used to pull up to the Common Ground all the time. Back in Riverside back in the day. I'm trying to remember some of these other ones that, I was always at the Roxy and stuff like that for the hip hop shows. I mean, it's more or less the same people circulating in these spaces, right? And it was cool, and then when I went to like A3C in Atlanta, like the same sort of contingent of LA based rappers, like I was on a flight with a lot of them. So like it was like, take this, and they were cool. I was out there by myself. Tehran and Omari, amazing tandem MCs. They're actually so ill. They were like hella friendly, man. They saw me out there by myself. They're like, once the festival's up, they're like, hey, we're gonna hit the Waffle House. We're gonna hit the strip club. We're in Atlanta. I'm like, I'll come to the Waffle House uh, uh, nevertheless, it's never been like this. It's never been like this, you know. And the place I probably felt the most sense of oneness with the community was when I used to go to, and Crystal, my wife, used to perform here, no less. But there was a Sunday night live music jam at the House of Blues on Sunset, up in the foundation room, kind of these intimate quarters. Talent was abundant: musicians, singers, songwriters, producers, etc., etc. I felt a better sense of oneness, but because I'm not a musician, nor a singer, nor somebody who studies theory, there was a limitation for me to how deeply I can sort of really actually embed myself. But they were always, again, I felt the oneness. They would let me get on. I would, you know, do guest sets and all the stuff all the time. This is the best feeling I've ever had in one of these spaces that I go. And it's funny because when I pull up, you know, Chastity at the front, at this point, she like, just come. And I was like, I would never abuse this for not paying to support this event. You know, like security doing the thing. It's like, no, he's good. You know, I would never abuse. I want y'all to, if I can give you just a little support that way of doing the one for, you know, price of admin, y'all got it, you know. And I go, and it's crazy because when I never seen this before. And I'm not gonna say names out of respect, but like when I go, I'm like, yo, that was dope. Thank you. Showing love to the people. And they're just like, yo, bro, thank you. I love you. And I'm like, man, like I have never experienced nothing like that. And there's not a flinch, not a bat of an eye, not any sort of no hit to one's masculinity, nothing. I'm like, dang, man, this is exemplary. This is beautiful. A lot of what's lyrically stated in Earth Tone music is aspirational. I want to get to a place where I can just be like, yo, thank you. I love you. Just like that, man. That's crazy. Like, beautiful, man. It's beautiful. That vibration is, yeah, it's special. And it, you know, you can't bottle it up and just pour it elsewhere. Like there's really good people and really good music curators and really good everything involved in it. Mm-hmm. And I gotta shout Prop, man. That dude is a whiz on his crowd control with the mic. What an incredible display he gives month after month of just like ensuring that we are all in this place. He's like hella funny, charismatic, crowd control, knows how to like get involved, fall back, and let it happen. Like I'm watching because like people will kind of just assume MC means the lyrical guy. It's not. It's you know, master of ceremonies. He's actually, and he's a great lyricist and songmaker too. So it's not to take away from that, but it is what he's doing is the original, like the first documented MC, Coke LaRock to the Cool Herc, like crowd control. People feel good under his spell and the way he's working the mic and stuff like that. So, you know, big shout to all of them.
Yeah.
We cut this light on. I'm listening.
With Prop, you know, it's one of the things that, you know, I listen to as well. It's like, you know, like any great comedian, any great dancer, and this goes for MC as well. A lot of them say it's what happens between the moves. It's what happens between the jokes. It's what happens when you're not saying anything as an MC. You know, I think he does a great job at keeping the crowd engaged for the DJs. But then, because I've worked with many MCs, you know, sometimes I'll show up to a club and they'll be like, oh, we have an MC that comes on for the headliner. Mm-hmm. And you don't really have a chemistry with them. Right. You know what I mean? They're just kind of looking at your laptop. Okay, you're going to play that next. I'm going to hype that up. All right, yo, y'all ready for Biggie? Blah, blah, blah. You know, whatever. You know, they're kind of going to, because they know what you're about to play next and you mixing it in. And, you know, they're just kind of vibing off of it. And then I've had some MCs that I'm just like, man, would you shut the hell up? Like, let the song breathe some. Like, because they just keep going in and they keep just they feel like they gotta say something in every song and then set up every song. And I'm like, sometimes the music just does what it's supposed to do. You don't have to say nothing.
Right.
But I love that Prop kind of understands that balance of like, hey man, I don't really have to say something every single song. I'm gonna create a vibe. And then when it's time to enhance it, he's a master of just giving it the right, this is what y'all needed. Hey, sing along with this part. Oh, I know y'all know the lyrics to this. We got to all do it, blah, blah, blah. And it engages the crowd to say, yeah, I want to go on this ride with this guy, you know. He doesn't get in his own way, and he doesn't get in the DJ's way. And every DJ, I'm sure, will be like, yes to that, because every DJ has worked with an MC. If you didn't know him and you didn't have a vibe with him, that you like, man, get this dude. He touching my knobs. He over there cutting out the music, saying, you know, trying to be again, like stand-up comedian and all of that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, he's Prop definitely has got the right vibe.
Yeah, man, Midas touch for real.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
I want to shift to what's up with Kanye, man? You normally you're normally the one that'll be like, that's all right, I'm still playing. But I'm like, I'm not a proponent of cancel culture. I am a proponent of exercising your own judgment, you know, and not having to like be toxic about it and all that. Obviously, I think we all saw you know, his picture with like, you know, very infamous figure in Candace Owens, and then with the shirt that says "White Lives Matter." I saw some other stuff bubbling today. I didn't stop and give it too much mind, but I think it was something like mixing up his name in a bad way with somebody who's supposed to be laid to rest in a legend in Virgil Abloh, you know, like. And obviously Kanye, there's a lot of overlap between them and their legacies and stuff like that. But I didn't pay much mind on it, but it was like controversy, kick up the controversy. And while you don't need to like dive too deeply in what is it stupid or it's not, so it's stupid. You know, it's not a matter. It cheapens it. It tells me you don't believe in yourself as an artist. You got to go through this level of, you know, shock jock activity, this level of, you know, the surprise element and keeping your name relevant through controversy and being against the grain. It's like, yo, man, like, do you not trust your instincts as an artist? You, by virtue of what you've created in your first 5 albums, I mean, actually 5 is even extra credit. By the first 3, his whole school series, you know, the Dropout and Late Registration and then Graduation. By virtue of that collection of work, you should be a Teflon figure that like that Beyonce, Jay-Z. It's like, yo, when I show up, here's my offering to you. This is my creative work that I'm offering to you, and it just dropped. And let the people talk about it because you're that great. If you feel the need to do it like this, and this is truly my belief. My belief it's obviously subjective. I could be wrong. It's my opinion, but it's like he's got a project coming out, right? He got something. Clothing
Season 9 of Yeezy is coming out. He's got a project that he's working on. So he's, you know, yeah.
So that last project that dropped, or 2 projects ago, rather, or some number of projects ago, he threw that infamous red hat on. A red hat that was, you know, now it's completely spilled over, and there's like a clear, stark, you know, categorization, like you are a white nationalist if you're wearing that hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, it was on a one-way road to that place. And like, yo, let me throw this hat on and have you think outside the box. But it's always some ridiculous publicity stunt. It's like, yo, trust your work, man. You trust your work. If some bum who's like, the only way I'm out here being relevant is through controversy and publicity stunts, it's like, fine, man, we know that's your cheap path to staying relevant. But Kanye's too good. And I can't stress enough that it's just disappointing to me when I see these things you know, unravel this way, because I'm like, you're too good for this, man. You're too good. It's sad.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. I would say where I kind of disagree with you is I believe that Kanye really believes in his work. I think he doesn't believe in people. I think he thinks people are idiots and they have to be prodded like this in order to engage and give attention. And I think he uses the likes of Howard Stern and shock jocks and social media to say, you guys are peasants. You guys are idiots. You guys look at your phones all day. You guys follow. You guys are sheep. And the only way I believe I'm a genius, because we know Kanye believes in Kanye, but he doesn't trust people. And again, I think this is a horrible way to engage and seek attention. So we're 100. And you know me, I tend to be a Kanye apologist in certain areas, because I'm like, let me read some of these.
Pause, buddy.
Yeah, listen. Today I was like, man, if I was George Bush, I would have waited until this very moment to say Kanye hates black people. Like I would literally have come out on social media. I would have said
Rachel Nichols I'm back move. Which, first of all, let me qualify, since we're on a public platform and it's recording. I was never behind Rachel Nichols' cancellation. I thought it was like everything but foolproof. It was foolish. She addressed something. It's a real conversation. ESPN got a legacy where they had to make up, and they needed to put black people in positions of opportunity and women in positions of opportunity. Rachel only qualifies as one of those two. She had worked her way up through, I felt like she grinded in making herself a figure that is, synonymous with NBA broadcast, NBA media. And for her to be, for them to be like, yo, you got to fall back. I get, if I'm working really hard at my job and I'm like, it took me forever to get promoted and I got to my place of promotion, and I don't care what the reason is, I would be frustrated, and it would be my right to express that privately. And even in her private conversation, she was not speaking recklessly. It was not a Donald Sterling conversation. It was, not a Robert Sarver conversation. She's just like, these are the facts and this is how it affects me and I don't like it.
Yeah, like, why should I have to forego an opportunity for me just because y'all messed up?
Yeah.
Y'all should have been hiring black people and women before. That's right. To me, that's how it came across.
That's how I got it too. That's how I got it too. Okay, so I wanted to clarify that, since I made that little joke, that it's definitely no shade, but the timing was funny. Malik and Andrew getting the work in Twitter, which I think is stupid too. I don't agree with the stuff she's saying, but this whole wave of like, hey, get her, get that person now, get that. I'm not for it. And I don't mean to be adding to it by talking about Kanye, but hey, the man wanted to be spoken of. We speak on the hip hop things, and sorry, you were saying.
No, I'm glad she got picked up by, like, I saw All the Smoke was kind of co-signer, and Showtime Sports is going to give her a opportunity. So I'm glad to see that, because I think she deserves it.
For sure.
But yeah, but aside from that, I was just saying, man, if I was George Bush, I would be waiting for this moment my whole life I would be all over Kanye right now. I'll be like, yo, but with that said, what's the guy's name? Emmanuel. Oh, he does
Acho.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Emmanuel Acho. Yeah, I saw him at Real Ones once, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No. He said, he had something that he posted briefly that I checked out where he was like, intention. It's really about intention.
Mm-hmm.
And what is his intention behind that? I think it's horrible. Like I said, up until this point, I tend to be a Kanye apologist just because I see so much of him or myself through him and vice versa. The narcissism, the ego, the pride, not so much the genius, because I don't think I'm a genius, but you know what I mean? Like I've struggled with, everybody has their struggles. Some people struggle with alcohol, some people struggle with drugs, some people struggle with bipolar, all mental issues, all types of things. My struggle personally has always been probably pride. You know what I mean? Like I feel like given the opportunity, I can do anything. And that ego, it's like Jalen Rose says, like that pride and that ego is on one hand helps you get to whatever level of success you have. You know what I mean? Like being on TV or getting the opportunities I have, you start to feel like, well, the reason why I got it is because I believed in myself. Nobody else believed in me. You know what I mean? And so you start to think like that. And not until you start to mature and you start to understand where you're at spiritually and you start to humble yourself and understand that those opportunities aren't really because of you, they're blessings and they're lessons that can be learned there, that you start to say, oh, okay. This wasn't about me. This was about others, and it's about helping others, and it's about some lessons that I need to learn. I'm saying all that to say that I've always kind of identified with Kanye in that capacity. But when he does things like this, it really cheapens his genius. And I do think he is a genius, but this cheapens it. And it makes me appreciate people like Master P, people like who else was I thinking about today? Was another person that kind of rose up into it, but like who?
Sorry, can I ask real quick? Why did Master P come to mind specifically?
Because on one hand, a lot of people, especially on social media, was saying, "Oh man, he's sold out for money." He's a billionaire already, so I don't think he's doing this for necessarily more money. Right. But I think in his mind, he was saying, hey, the ends justify the means, because ultimately I want to start this school Donda. I want this or not start, but I want the school Donda to be successful. And look at all the African-American males I'm helping out through Donda. And that takes money to do that. That's not a cheap thing to do, to run a school, to set up a charter school and all of that stuff. Ask Jalen Rose. It's not cheap. Oh, that's the other person I was thinking about, Jalen Rose. But again, how much money is enough money? So when you look at the reason why I brought up Master P is because Master P is somebody who did it independently. And we always look at Master P because we don't give him the genius title because of his lyrics. And you're like, well, he wasn't that great of a rapper. But again,
he gets the Hustler Award.
But he gets the Hustler Award, right? Yeah. But Master P has made a significant amount of money.
Oh yeah,
very, very significant amount of money.
Yeah, in an out of the box, in a revolutionary way that
changed
everything. Changed
the industry. The joint venture that he's doing now with Snoop and the Snoop Loops and the food and everything that he's doing is generating money. And he's never sold himself out or any of his people out or the culture out. And that's not somebody who would necessarily come to people's mind like Master P. Like they don't identify him with hip hop, but everything that Master P has ever done has been quote unquote authentically hip hop. He's done everything from the mud. He's gotten everything out of the mud. He's done everything authentic, and he's always stayed true to not only himself, but to putting other Black people in positions of power. When you ask Snoop, when he left Death Row and went over to No Limit for a while, when you ask any of the Black people that even Silk the Shocker, all the people that they all are like, yo, Master P is that guy. He not only taught me how to fish, you know what I mean? He only not only gave me the fish, but then he taught me how to fish. He taught me how to get it myself. He put me in a position of power. So I just feel like with Kanye, look, none of us know how to be billionaires. No, there is no blueprint and there's no rule book to how to become a billionaire. So he's already in rare air. And I'm sure you're going to make some mistakes. And because his mistakes are more public because of who he is, they're just out there. They're more. But I just feel like this. I'm noticing this pattern here with him about to release something, him doing something completely disrespectful to the Black culture. Like, it's always the Black culture. Like, why? It's not even hip hop. It's
not always, but like the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, it's like
not 10, but a little less.
It's exactly. But it's always like, man, why are you doing this? You know what I mean? And we was the people. We've always been the people that have given you your flowers and wanted to support you the whole way. I'm not talking about hip hop. I'm speaking for Black folks. You know what I mean? So like, it feels disrespectful. Like, yo, man, I understand being a shock jock. I understand creating controversy to sell a product. I understand that you need to do something to kick off your PR and marketing campaign. We understand that. We as Earth Tone understand marketing and promotion and all of that. We get it. We're artists. But why this way? Why this way? Because Master P, Jalen Rose, other artists, Jay-Z, Beyonce, they all have to promote and market their products too. They don't tend to take shots directly at Black folks. And that is something that today I just kind of had to think about and pause and say, man, I typically am a Kanye apologist, but this is one of those times where it's like, I really can't apologize for him. I just think it's a poor choice. And I don't know if he has the right people around him to say, yo, dog, that ain't it. And that ain't it.
Nah, that man floats in his own space. I think I don't get the sense that he keeps anyone around him that would, oppose his will, his view, his path. He just kind of steamrolls.
But he said, but I heard an interview with Pusha T, and Pusha T was like, I tell him all the time. I feel like he may have people around him that will be like, that ain't it.
Well, I know Talib did, but
he just don't want to listen.
He burned that relationship by just kind of recklessly, speaking on him, and having watched that Genius, or it was a Genius or Genius, whatever it was, that Netflix doc, and how like Talib is one of the two members of Black Star were like the only ones who, that the only act with the platform who actually believed in him as an artist and not exclusively as a producer. And so, it's just like, man, it's sad. I mean, and you bring Pusha T up, and you are right for now. But I say that for now because of Talib. I say that for now because of Kid Cudi. I say that for now because of Drake. They're on again, off again friendship or whatever that, or industry friendship or whatever that is. But that kind of flagrant method of controversy. Look, the game's controversy is like, yo, I'm better than Eminem, and we all recognize, whether you like it or not, for you or not, we recognize M's prowess, we recognize his place in the pantheon, right? Like, so to be like, yo, I'm better, that's like, yo, that's a bold take, man. You talk crazy. Let's get you on the podcast. Let's talk about it.
Different.
That doesn't really hurt anybody.
Exactly.
That's fun. That's the hip hop fun. It sounds crazy. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna say, hey, you need to be taken down a peg. But no, you know what? He actually got better song. Whatever we'll say it. And that's fun. It's the hip hop conversation. It's not lending yourself to a conversation that's so much bigger than you and your individual place in history. It's so much bigger, man, and it should not be tampered with in such a reckless fashion. You know, it's dumb and it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, I would say this though, because we don't believe in cancel culture like that. You know, I'm waiting on standby to see what the ramifications and the fallout will be. Because do I feel like people are going to stop wearing Yeezys? No. Do I feel like people are going to stop supporting his clothing? No. His music? No. So I mean, again, what, you know, you just start to chalk it up as this is just another dumb move, and you know what? But what's the ramification?
That is up to the individual, right? That's up to the individual. Like, you're not getting that. I mean, frankly, if he never if he never said anything that was crazy, I probably wouldn't buy Yeezys because that's not my price point, you know. I'm trying to buy a house, man. I'm trying to stun these streets. But so, you know, but yeah, I mean, you're right. What is the fallout? What's the ramification? And that's why I've always tried to be careful about saying I have to find a way to communicate to that public entity that I don't agree with what they're doing. It's not a cancellation, it's a communication. And it's like, yo, if there's some version of humility and some version of like, hey, maybe I gotta walk that one back. It's like, yo, and I'm not saying like you're bad at music. Or I'm not out here to throw an insult out ever. It's not even about that. Like, I'm just here to say I have to find my way, my own individual free will thought to say, like, I'm not for this. And I got to find a way to make that clear that I'm not for it. And the best way I can communicate with somebody who issues a product is not support the product. You know, Paul's with me. Yeah. This feels yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
While we are on, you know, kind of more serious topics and things of that sort, I would be remiss, you know, as a Persian person, as an Iranian American, to not use our platform, whatever its reach is, to not you know, draw attention to the very real affairs that are taking place out there and what the people are fighting for. 2 weeks ago, a 22-year-old named Mahsa Amini was killed by what's referred to as the morality police for a mispositioning of her head wrap, her scarf. 2 weeks ago, when it went down, maybe it's 3 weeks ago. Excuse me if my timeline isn't accurate, but when it went down, I was with my brother in Charlotte. His instant response to it was so on the money. And he said, you know, we just kind of addressed it real quick, obviously recognizing its tragedy and how sad it is that somebody had to die, you know, for something so like baseless and stupid, you know, that parents lost a daughter and friends lost a friend, etc. Like, and my brother's next response after that was, the next thing that's going to happen is there's going to be unrest and demonstrations and protests in the streets. and it's not going to go well. I think my last check, upon my last check, I saw 92 deaths from the protests in the streets of Iran. And this is not the first of protests in Iran. Iran is not very recognized or covered. It's, transgressions within its own state, within its own place of government is not recognized whatsoever here. There's a protest once every few years, frankly. I remember, I want to say about 2009, maybe 10. They were supposed to have instituted an actual democratic election. It was corrupt. It's always corrupt. Who the people felt like they voiced their vote towards and who had the majority vote didn't win. Obviously, this is all going to sound very familiar, right? It's no different. It's actually, frankly, no different. People died protesting here. People died baselessly for routine traffic stops, etc. This is going down right now in Iran. There's just no light being cast upon it. So using the platform, I want to draw attention to it. 92 people died. My brother said it's just going to be unrest and protests, but really, and I say this, I don't say this with, I don't mean to, you know what, never mind. I don't want to elicit any kind of hopelessness, because the people are fighting out there, and they deserve support. They deserve attention, and they deserve a prayer. However you give it to them, they deserve that. And, but they protest every year. They protest, not every year. They protest every few years. Something else sparks it, and it turns into unrest. And the police and the government out there don't play. They will take lives. So when you make the choice to get into the street that it could be your last day, and it's so gnarly, it's so heavy. And,
So, because again, it was even before we tapped in, I was like, man, I was about to call you because I hate speaking on things that I'm not well informed about or educated on, because then I'm just, kind of in the moment and just responding to social media, like sound bites and whatnot. And I really wanted you to break it down for me, so I understood. I'm going, somebody who has more knowledge than me. Like, so what are they what do they want? Because the young lady died. So are they trying to change the rule of what she died for, or are they just trying
they're fighting for a revolution right now.
Okay.
The irony of it is, the year my brother was born, 1979, was the revolution that basically like instituted the current form of government, which is theocratic, ruled by religion, by Islam specifically, and which then like under that umbrella of rule produces rules like women have to be covered a certain way and so on. Like, rewind the clock prior, like tens of years ago to that 3 weeks ago when I was with my brother in Charlotte. Like, my mom used to fondly tell this story, like when she was reminiscing on our experience, and I was an infant when we left Iran, but like our experience, my family's experience, hers as a mother, of being in Iran. And she's like, she would tell this story, but it's very telling. She would tell it with a certain fondness and nostalgia, and like speaking to how cute it was that my brother would keep an eye on her. But my mom's, head wrap would fall out of place a lot. So like her hair would be revealed, and your hair by law is supposed to be completely covered. And my brother would, when they would be in the public setting, my brother would say, mom, like, you need to fix that. You need to fix it. And it's like, again, she's telling the story with a certain sweetness and lightness. But nah, like that's really the going down out there. And like, and so this young lady who you know, whose passing sparked the current unrest, it was true. It was literally the same thing that my brother was, you know, checking my mom on and keeping her on track for. Um, it's crazy. And it's that kind of thing. And like, you know, we speak on religion a little bit. You are a spiritual person. I aspire towards spirituality, but I was also, my mom is a spiritual person. She's much better at spirituality than I am. Her disdain for Islam specifically cannot be mistaken. She is scarred from her experience as a woman. Like, you know, we're a governmental revolution away from me not speaking this language, not having no conversation with you, me being surrounded by the homogeny of just growing up where I was born, essentially, and just kind of being one with and a citizen of my birthplace. Like, the butterfly effect of it is my mom has deep rooted hate for the institution, for the governmental practice of pounding religion down the throats of its citizens. It's always awkward because like one of my best friends is like an Egyptian Muslim. You were talking about him before we hopped on, you know. So my mom, once upon a time, used to say some pretty anti-religion stuff, Muslim stuff specifically on Facebook. She loves this kid, like, you know, he's family, you know. So he'd always come over for dinner and stuff like that. He would like LOL because he knows he's a great soul. He's not taking it personally at him. And I'm like, Mom, can you chill on your public views? Right? Like, you know, it's just, you don't know who's watching. You know what I'm saying? But as stuff like this comes back up to the, you know, to the zeitgeist, to the surface of conversations, to the narrative, it's like, these things are real. Like, her scars are real. As a woman, her scars are real. You know, we got a family member that I never met, unfortunately, but he did some petty level criminal things and was killed for it. The guy that my mom and my uncle hold in like the highest regards. Like, you know, my uncle was like kind of a surrogate father figure to me, and he would say, this guy was like that to me. He showed me my way, you know. So I know his name through family legacy, but, you know, he got caught up in some stuff, and that's how his story ended. This is this woman's clothing. It's a wardrobe malfunction that led to this person dying. And it's like, that's like the reality. Like, that's the reality of like that level of corruption. So I don't mean no ill will towards, I don't care how you identify, if you're Muslim or not, a Christian, a Jew, Buddhist, whatever. I care about your outlook and how you treat others. And so I have respect for, like, when I see people being exemplary who use yourself, you use your Christianity as a way to inform goodness, your way that you try to walk towards a certain path of righteousness, and how you carry yourself in your relationship with others, and the values. You just try to uphold certain values, but you don't cast judgment on others, you know. And it's like, that's to me where it gets dicey and things like that. But I was raised in a household like that, with the woman who experienced that way. And so, you know, you see these things come back up, and it is surreal. It's surreal beyond belief, man. Like, it's surreal. And you know, I do have family there. I wouldn't say necessarily that I have like deep relationships with. So I do think about them, and I, you know, just think about you know, my fellow country people, as a dual citizen, frankly, of both the U.S. and Iran. So, you know, sending any version of positivity that I can in their fight for change.
Yeah, I think there's very, very powerful lesson about religion in a nutshell. And obviously we've talked about this. Like I never say that I'm religious.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that to me is almost insulting when people say, "Oh, you're religious," because it's like religion in and of itself produces things like this, where you're so caught up on the rules that you throw out the love and the forgiveness and the peace and the joy and all of the things that religion is supposed to produce. You start actually hyper focusing on the rule as opposed to the lesson and the love that is
Right.
supposed to be displayed. So when I hear religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's whatever, Islam, Buddhism, whatever, like I'm like, I mean, there's people that watch football religiously.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's their religion.
Absolutely.
Basketball religiously. I work out religiously. That
Right.
just means you do something consistently.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's changing your character. That doesn't mean you're a good person. There's a lot of, obviously, we know with the Catholic Church, there's a lot of religious people that do some horrible, awful things. They commit some atrocities. They take advantage of not only people but children.
Right.
So whenever I hear religion, it makes me cringe because it's like, man, I don't want to have be a religious person. I don't want to go to church every Sunday and then be the same, walk out and be the same heathen on Monday that that I'm trying to be delivered from. So it's when I hear this kind of stuff, I'm like, man, if the religion of Islam is supposed to be a religion, I don't know what they build themselves as, but
Right.
I've heard this in the past. If it's supposed to be a religion of love
Mm.
and forgiveness and wisdom, and this young lady, again, I don't know all the nuances that and that's why I wanted to talk to and that's why I wanted to hear from you what was going on there. But if your religion is supposed to be one of love and
Mm-hmm.
peace and forgiveness, and this lady's head wrap is out of sorts, and your response to that is killing her, instead of showing her compassion, then that's to me a hypocritical false religion.
That's a fact. It's institutionalization that's always a concern, I think, because when you structuralize, somebody gets a benefit. And I don't care what that is. You can call it college. Colleges are institutions. Prisons are institutions. Somebody's winning off of an institution. There tips a scale out of sorts when somebody is winning, and the notion of religion is supposed to be rooted in something really pure.
Love,
Love.
forgiveness,
Yeah. Simple.
respect, yeah,
You're,
hope,
you're,
all of
you're
that.
lying, you're lying to God, right? You're lying to divinity. Um, and yeah, so it's yeah, it's that structure. It's that structure that you know, creates the toxicity. Um, and I think that's what I was trying to articulate. Maybe I didn't do a good job. When I see, again, one of my best friends is Muslim. I got not a lot, I got a handful of Jewish best friends. I got many Christian best friends. Like when I see them operating in a way, it's like we all make mistakes every day, but this is just kind of like helps helps keep me on track, helps my path as I put one foot forward and how I want to, walk my walk and talk my talk. Like I appreciate how they use it as a guide to inform what culminates to this really incredible person. I admire my friends, so when I see them use it as a way that feeds a character that I find to be upstanding and admirable, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool that you got it like that, it's just these groupings. My wife and I watched there's like a George Carlin, like a 2-part documentary or docuseries or whatever on HBO Max. We watched that recently.
On George Carlin?
George Carlin. Oh
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He's that dude's, he's a thinker, and I, I always got a thing for the thinker. So and it's like that stranded comedian that's like it's the Dick Gregory's and the Chappelle's, the ones who evolved, it's like comedy was a Trojan horse for this philosopher, like this is different. So he kind of like that. And I heard him say, over like snippets and stuff like that in different talk show interviews and what have you, he was like, I really love people. He's always very critical and very outspoken in his bits, as you may know, about, government and restricting thoughts and some of the stuff that Dora said earlier, extremism, bigotry, and stuff like that. He goes at those things, with his gloves off. So, but when he's talking about it in his like in a conversational setting on a talk show or something, he'll be like, I really do. I love people. I love when I come across people. It's when I love individuals. It's when they start to group up that it becomes an issue for me, that I question them more. I trust them less. And like, as I'm listening to it, I'm like, I'm not totally following. And then when I thought about it, I didn't think about it necessarily in terms of religion, organized religion. I was thinking about it in terms of like Twitter mobs, and that's kind of like why, like, we talk about a Kanye thing. I'm just like, listen, this is my choice. You do what you want. And you know what? If you're going to listen to Kanye, I'm not going to cancel you. You know what I mean? It's just like, you've made the choice to listen to this music. I don't want to listen to that music, but you like 4 or 5 other things that I like. Let's talk about that. So it's that collective mob thing. It's the torch carrying thing. It's like the tiki torch carrying. I was trying to say, it's like, yeah, that group thought is dicey. It's okay to think critically for yourself. And I see you and me, we got, we agree on plenty, and there's things we don't. And but the respect doesn't waver. The respect is at 100 all the time. Like, it's like, yo, okay, I get that. I get how you think the way you think. We could speak on it. You could contextualize it, and that's okay.
I think it circles back to something I was saying earlier with the Emmanuel Acho thing, is like, your intent. What are your intentions?
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever you and I vibe on something and we break bread and we talk about things, or whatever, my intentions are genuinely like for understanding and seeking understanding, and I'm always coming in the spirit of love, even if I misspeak, or if I may say something that's offensive at the time, because I don't know how to articulate it correctly. Mm-hmm. When you trust that the person that you're speaking with, their intentions are right, you give them the benefit of the doubt of saying, all right, I know that that's probably not how you mean it, because your track record shows that, you know what I mean? Like, I know where your heart is at. We always joke about how we first met. You know what I mean? Like, I was very, very aggressive, you know what I mean? But my intentions were like, this is what it was. And then even like when we got on the hip hop stuff, like, it could have been received as offensive, the way I was like, hey man, your beats is kind of whack, but I see a diamond in the rough. Like, you'd have been like, yo, bro, like, that's not, you know what I mean? But I think you always have trusted,
love that,
that my intentions were pure, and I'm not above not being understood or being misunderstood. But what my point to that is getting to it, like, you really got to question people's intentions and where they're coming from. I think that has a lot to do with it. Everything to do with it.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Hey, Paul, Dora, we appreciate you. We're gonna end on this note and know that our intentions are good. And they come from genuine love, appreciation. Thank you for rocking with us. And we shouting out power to the people. And it's like that on this URF Tone Tuesday. We'll see you next week. Appreciate
That's
you.
what's up.